also an idea that this is some type of witch hunt.
Yeah.
As if it's not, you know, a movement by women who have truly been affected, that there's some larger conspiracy to bring a guy down.
Well, let me bring it on the phone. I've got Horace Cooper. He's from Project 21, the National Leadership Network of Black Conservatives. And what I want to ask you is, I think you have an issue with not that this happened or not about his guilt or innocence, but the fact that the law was applied to him in a, what should we say, injudicious manner, given his celebrity status and his moralizing. Is that a reasonable way to say it?
Well, that's exactly what the judge who issued the opinion said was a contributing factor to the decision, that he was able to review the materials and he saw a side of Bill Cosby that contradicted what he called the public moralizing role.
But thereby his deal that he had made was somehow undone. So much like Reva, it reminds you of the Ashley Madison situation. Yes. These people, like, I would love to have these people exposed, but you know what? They have a right to privacy, and they made a deal with the website to keep these things private.
Well, I think we should be clear about what the judge said when he released some excerpts from that lawsuit. What he said was that Bill Cosby stepped into the public domain beyond being a comedian and an entertainer when he became this moralist, and when he went into churches and community halls and, you know, used his platform to address issues like education and child rearing and parenting. And so he was no longer this private figure. But let me say this, Dr. Drew, about these women. You know, I've represented women in similar lawsuits. And often women become, you know, they get the blame when they stand up to men like Bill Cosby. Yeah. And that's an unfortunate thing. But I think the more programs like this, the more we talk about it, people will start to realize the women aren't gold diggers. They're trying to get some form of justice because they've been victimized. And I think that's important to keep talking about the victims, the victims, the victims.
And here's the thing about
well, I want to interject for a second. I want to interject for a second.
Go ahead, real quick. Horace?
The standard isn't whether Bill Cosby is public or private. The real question is, under what circumstances legally were they allowed to unseal those documents, and his public status or his private status was not actually a factor. And if the judge said, I'm doing it because of that, that would have been procedural error that could have gotten the decision overturned. Well, so we can like or not like his public status versus his private status, but that's not the appropriate standard for review.
Well, it actually is the standard because our court records in the U.S. are presumptively open. We don't have secret courts. We don't have things hidden. It's very unusual that something would be under seal, and when someone's a public figure, they lose the right, and that's why it was all revealed. And by the way, 47 women call him a rapist. Yeah. I don't think rapists should have a right of privacy.
And yeah, absolutely. And
wow. Now that is dangerous.
Yeah,
that is very dangerous.
Well, I'll tell you why, because that
only
secrecy
3 accusers,
allows him
then
to
you get your
continue.
right. But if there are 50 accusers, you lose your right. So that any time any litigation is occurring, we just ramp up accusers, and that would determine whether you get your right. Very dangerous.
Horace, one
very dangerous.
question from the audience. Yes, ma'am.
No,